And welcome back into the Bettor Half Hour, my favorite segment where we bring you guys, girls, veterans in the sports betting game that are winning more than they're losing. You've seen them on the show. You've seen them on the Betting Exchange, host on Sirius XM Radio, a part of Picks Wise. Adam Ronis back in the building. Adam, how are you?
Doing well. It was a wild week in the NFL last week. The favorites all were covered for the most part, so the books got hammered, and we like to see that.
We love to see it, and I'll get back to that in a second. We're going to start, though, with Thursday night. I want to pick your sharp brain here. Home primetime dogs have done phenomenal, especially in division, but also beating a team twice is difficult. Chargers beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead, but the Chiefs right now giving away 3.5, even seeing it up to 4. Which way you leaning on primetime Thursday night?
Yeah, right now my lean is the Chargers. Obviously, this line has moved. It was 4, but we found out today that defensive tackle Chris Jones is going to go on the COVID-19 list. That is a big loss for Kansas City because the strength of the Chiefs right now is the defense. We have talked about it on this show. This offense still hasn't figured it out. The only 2 weeks they had where they played well was against the Raiders because the Raiders were the only team in that span that didn't use the 2 deep safeties that are taking away the big plays from the Chiefs. But on the Chargers side, there are concerns. Their left tackle, Rashawn Slater, is out. That's a big loss against this Chiefs team. We have to see if Austin Eckler is going to play. I know they said he's fine, but it's an ankle issue that he aggravated again this past week. Will Keenan Allen be activated off the COVID-19 list? That's someone that they need. You can get by beating the Giants without Keenan Allen, but they will need him against the Chiefs. But I'm going to lean the Chargers. Now, you can't look at home dogs and apply it to the Chargers. They have no home field advantage. You're going to see a lot of Chiefs fans there. But I like the Chargers always better as underdogs. I know you have a history there, Alex, with this team. I'm always pro-Chargers. They let me down. They've won 2 in a row, but they're 4-0 against the spread. The Chiefs are as favorites. And on the other side, the Chargers are 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 against the division. And the Chargers are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 as an underdog. So right now my lean is the Chargers.
Yeah, it's a wealth of knowledge right there, Adam. I appreciate that. I wish I could take notes while we're talking. Okay, so as you alluded to, favorites doing very well. Actually, the last 2 weeks, 12-2, straight up, almost all but one until the Rams took the Cardinals down as an underdog. Is this another week like that? And if so, do you like a favorite particularly early on in the week here on Tuesday?
No, I think you see outliers every week. We went through a stretch where a lot of the underdogs were covering. I just think we had mismatches last week where you had 2 teams going in opposite directions. Giants, Chargers, Lions, Broncos, even Tennessee, Jacksonville. I don't really see that so far this week. And again, this is a tricky week. We're having a lot of COVID-19 issues right now. The Browns are already hit hard. Odell Beckham's on the list. So you got to be aware of that. You're going to see line movement here. But the one favorite that stands out to me right now, even with the points, is the Bills. But let's just keep an eye on Josh Allen. He wasn't a walking boot. But the thing about the Bills, they beat up on bad teams. And the perception of the Bills right now is, oh, look, they're struggling. But look who they lost to, the Colts, the Buccaneers, the Patriots. Those are all good teams. The Panthers are a disaster right now, 2-8 against the spread in their last 10. The Bills are 6-1-1 against the spread against teams with losing records. And here's a key stat. The Bills against teams with losing records, they have outscored them 216-64. They need this game really badly. You hope they don't look ahead to next week when they play New England again, but the Bills are a team that stands out early for me.
I love that. Great wealth of info as well on that one. Okay, so an interesting one in the AFC. Not the most glamorous matchup, but playoff implications nonetheless. You got the Bengals dancing with the Broncos. It's a pick 'em, so I want to get your brain and pick yours on which way you lean in that.
Yeah, I lean the Bengals here. I know they've been inconsistent. You look the last 2 weeks, they lost to 2 good teams, the Chargers and the 49ers. And that game against the 49ers, they muffed 2 punts that set up San Francisco in good field position. They had a bad taunting penalty that extended a drive. They held the Niners to 255 total yards. Went to overtime. They couldn't get the job done. But they're 4-1 against the spread their last 5 road games. They're 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 after loss. And this is just, I don't believe in the Broncos. You know, the Broncos are one of those teams also that is beaten up on bad teams. Great. They beat the Lions last week. The Lions were missing half their team. The Lions were coming off a win. And I think once the Lions got their first victory of the season, that's it. Close up shop. They avoided history. And now it's just finish out the stretch, get that high draft pick. So that win was not impressive to me. And what's the strength of Denver? Running the football with Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, and the Bengals are 9th in yards per rush. So I think the Bengals bounce back here. I know it's a road game, but I think, again, this is just recency bias where you look at last week and you look at the results of the two teams. So I'm on Cincinnati here.
All right, I love that. And another one that's interesting that will absolutely have some line movement here, pending whether Lamar Jackson's a go or not. Packers best cover in the league. Not as much on the road, but do you think this number is worth firing on early, maybe in terms of leaning Green Bay if Lamar is potentially leaning towards not playing?
Yeah, I think that's the key. If you think Lamar Jackson is going to play, then you probably hop on the Ravens. If you think he's out, you jump on Green Bay right now. So, again, sometimes the teams say, yeah, he's fine, he's going to play, and we know it doesn't always work out. So you kind of have to take that lean for the better points right now. And now I know it's gone down. I think it was Green Bay initially -6, and now that line has moved, as you alluded to. You're right. Green Bay has been phenomenal against the spread this year, 11-2 against the spread. But how often do we get the Ravens as home dogs? They're 5-1 against the spread. Their last 6 as home dogs, 5-1 against the spread, and their last 6 off a loss. I know they have not looked good, and Lamar Jackson has not played well, but this is another huge game for the Ravens, too, that are trying to lock up this division. And the Ravens 16-5-1 against the spread, and their last 22 as an underdog. So right now my lean is the Ravens with the points. But if Lamar Jackson doesn't play, that line will move. But Huntley did play pretty well last week. He gave them a shot. They almost came back and won that game.
Without question. And one of the sicker Scotty Van Bad beats on that backdoor 2.5 there covering as well. All right, let's get you out of here with this. Best bet of the weekend.
Not if you had the Ravens.
Yeah, not if you had the Ravens.
The best bet of the weekend. Yeah. Right now for me, it's the Bears plus 3.5 on Monday night. We know this. We can't trust Minnesota as a favorite. How many times have we seen this? 2-9 against the spread, their last 11 games as favorites. 0-7 against the spread against teams with a losing record. Division home dog for the Bears. Justin Fields looked okay. There were flashes where he was decent against Green Bay, but we cannot trust Minnesota as a favorite on the road. We've learned our lesson.
I love it. Adam Ronis, always bringing the knowledge. Appreciate you as always. Great chopping it up with you. And when I return, we're talking about early line movement, where to fire, where not, way to patiently wait. We're just getting started on the Bettor Half Hour.